my task this morning is to discuss the fundamentals of office communication, but I will be discussing more of the workplace communication, wherein office communication will also be indicated as well in my discussion. So what you're seeing right now is a communication process to which I think you are all familiar with. So, but there's a need for me to still mention this process because it is very important in a certain communication situation. We have to analyze the communication process kasi nakakalimot tayo minsan sa pag-unawa doon sa proseso ng komunikasyon. Kaya minsan ay nagkakaroon tayo ng miscommunication or misunderstanding dun sa process. Okay, so it is very important or it's very relevant in every communication office or in every organization to really be much particular of the said process. So dapat alam natin saan ba galing yung sino ba yung source, ano ba yung messages, sino ba yung receiver, paano ba tayo dapat na magbigay ng feedback sa kanila. Okay? So dapat in an instant ay maunawaan natin yung situation or scenario kasi there are some instances wherein we cannot avoid that there are some dispute or there is some what we call the risk and crisis in a communication or in an organization that we cannot avoid. So minsan nadadala tayo ng ating emosyon kaya kung ano-ano na lamang yung ating mga nasasabi in front of the person na ating kausap or even when we are trying to write our communication letters, minsan ay hindi na natin na naiisip ano kaya ang sasabihin ng taong ito, ano kaya ang mararamdaman ng taong ito kapag ito ang aking sinabi sa kanila. So dapat magkaroon tayo ng ganong practice sa sarili mismo natin, maging self-critical tayo sa ginagawa natin. Hindi lang doon sa kapag meron tayong kausap in person, gayon din kapag meron tayong mga sinusulat na letters, sinusulat na email, or even when sending a simple text message to someone, or even when sending a message through Messenger. Kasi iba na ngayon yung form of communication natin kasama na rin yung pag-communicate natin through Messenger, through using various social media apps, ginagamit na rin natin yon. So, whenever we're posting to social media, ano ba dapat ang ipopost natin? Pag pinost ba natin ito, kahit pa sabihin natin na nag-comment lang tayo on certain posts, but we are representing our organization. So we have to think twice, thrice, and many times kapag tayo ay mag-communicate. So kaya napakahalaga that we have to understand that that communication process that we are following. Okay? So with whom are we communicating the organization? So meron tayong tinatawag na internal sources, meron tayong tinatawag na external sources. So dun sa internal sources, ito yung mga team members. Ito yung madalas nating mga makasalamuha sa isang organization. Sila yung mga katrabaho natin. Okay? So there are some instances wherein we are communicating to them casually, and there are some instances that we have to communicate to them formally. Okay, and secondly, we also have our supervisors. We also have our department head na nakakasalumuha rin natin inside the organization. Now, we also have the so-called external sources. Ito yung mga suppliers, mga trade personnel, yung local government. Katulad halimbawa sa URS, we cannot get away with coordinating with local government units. So kasama lagi natin yan sa URS. So we are communicating to them. So ito yung mga sources natin when we are communicating inside the organization. Now, what are the messages that we are sending in the workplace? Meron tayong mga requests, of course. Meron tayong mga comments. Meron tayong mga inquiries. So, when sending requests, paano ba dapat tayo mag-ask ng request? Dapat ba may misa kasi ang nagiging dating ay parang tayong nagiging parang what's the term? Demanding doon sa ating request. Even just when we are writing a simple business letter, dapat when we are seeking requests or asking a request to different organizations or different offices or even to an individual. We have to follow certain behavior when giving commands. Meron tayong inuutos sa kanila that they have to submit this and that. So paano ba dapat natin sila i-communicate doon sa ating kausap? Kapag tayo may mga inquiries, meron tayong mga gustong malaman about something, remember tayo nakikiusap lamang. Paano ba dapat tayo mag-inquire sa kanila? Okay? So these are the messages that we are communicating inside the workplace commonly. So aside from the casual conversations that we have among our members of the organization. Okay, now, this time, I will be giving you some tips on how to communicate to the following. How you should be communicating to your team members, to your suppliers, to the trade personnel, to the industry bodies, the local government, and even to your guests. Paano ba dapat tayo nakikipag-communicate sa kanila effectively? So, I'm sure that all of you are particular dito sa mga i-share ko, pero minsan nakakalimot pa rin tayo. Kumbaga, this is some sort of reminder to each and every one of us on how we can communicate effectively doon sa mga tao or grupo na aking binanggit ngayon lang. Okay, so how we should be communicating with our team members. So one, sabi, we have to take responsibility and be a good example. So on this means of communicating to our team members, so as an individual, we should set as an example sa ating mga kasamahan. Okay? So minsan kasi, sabi nga, di ba, may kasabihan tayo na birds of the same feathers flock together. So, wag tayong maghilahan pababa, maghilahan tayo, maglakan tayo paakyat or pataas. So, yung mga kasama natin sa ating organization ay dapat ay kasabay natin sila sa pag-akyat. Okay? So, when we are talking to them, kung halimbawa, there are some instances that one of our team members ay low morale, so, dapat ay damayan natin sila in terms of how we could, how they should cope up with the predicaments that they are encountering. It could be sometimes personal, kasi hindi natin maiwasan that there are some personal issues that might affect as well kung paano magtrabaho yung isang member sa isang organisasyon. So, kung may mga personal predicaments ang isang kasamahan natin, mga personal issues, then if we can help them, tulungan natin sila. Okay? So, to take responsibility and be a good example. Adjust. It's very important, adjust. Hindi natin maiiwasan na meron tayong mga kasamahan na minsan ayaw natin because of how they behave towards us. Minsan meron tayong mga kasamahan na sumusobra na rin. Minsan, kinukulang. Okay? So, adjusting does not mean that we have to tolerate them. Adjusting means we have to find way on how we can help them to grow. Pasok yung ating pangalan ng ating seminar, to grow and to foster kung paano ba natin sila matutulungan pa. So, if there are some issues, hindi natin maiwasan yan inside the organization, and wag po natin gagawin yung ginagawa ng marami sa social media. Okay? Ang ginagawa, imbis na kausapin yung taong concerned, ang gagawin, ipopost sa social media. Okay? Hindi man nagbigay ng pangalan, nagbigay lang ng hint, nagpost lang doon, pero bagaman hindi ito makukuha ng karamihan, pero yung taong pinatutukoyan mo, magigets yun. So, you are not helping to solve the issue. Instead, mas lalo mo pang tinitrigger yung issue. Okay, so it's part of social media responsible, use of responsible social media na sana ay kapag mayroong mga ganyang mga concerns or problema among the members of your organization, there's no need for us to post it on social media. Okay? Yung iba nga minsan sinasabi, o sige, unawain mo na lang yung tao. That's part of adjustment. Okay? So, the one that I mentioned to you tungkol sa adjustment has something to do or in relation to discussing of communication issues, discussing risks among members. Okay, so in every organization, meron din tayong parang isang grupo o halimbawa kapag medyo serious na yung issues and concern, meron tayong mga persons in the organization na kumakausap sa taong yon. Let's say, binubo siya, halimbawa, I forgot the term for that. Basta merong isang, halimbawa dito sa URS, meron tayong, kapag may problema on the faculty and the staff, we have the HR muna, and then kung involve yung faculty, we have the dean, and then may representative yung faculty member, and then dinidiscuss nila yung issues and concerns bago pa siya lumaki. So, it's one way of solving the issues. Hindi yung right away, dun agad tayo sa post agad sa social media. Okay, so we should avoid that kind of behavior kasi it's not helping us personally, it's not helping the organization in general. Then, in terms of keeping a tight agenda, so it happens when there is a need for you to present something among the members of your organization. Halimbawa, meron kayong meeting, so ito yung ating mga dapat pag-usapan, ito lang yung mga dapat pag-usapan kasi there's some instances wherein kapag meron tayong mga other matters na pinag-uusapan that is beyond the things that has to be discussed during the meeting, ang nangyayari is kumakain pa siya ng oras. Especially if you are conducting a meeting sa online wherein hindi naman lahat ay kaya mag-stay ng matagal in front of the computer, talking a lot of things in front of the computer, hindi kayang mag-stay ng ganong katagal. So as much as possible, we have to have a detailed agenda and the things that need to be discussed among the members of the organization at magkaroon ng proper quorum on that para mat-control natin yung communication flow. And next is ask for questions from others. So check if things have been clear to everybody, then encourage them to speak. Wag po natin i-dominate. Kapag halimbawa during the meeting, wag po natin i-dominate yung conversation. Okay, remember, hindi lamang po tayo ang nandoon. Meron kasi sa isang meeting, may mga pagkakataon na kung saan merong iba talaga na nahihiyang magsalita. Nahihiya silang magsalita kasi iniisip nila baka mali ang kanilang sasabihin, mali yung kanilang mga suggestions. Pero if you notice that one of the members of your organization ay parang has something to share, we have to be particular on that, then let's try to encourage them to speak. Encourage them to speak. Okay? And then, from there, mas makakatulong yon at mas ma-encourage mo siyang magsalita. Okay. Next, ito yung minsan ay nahihirapan tayo. How to communicate with a supervisor or department head. Okay? So, I don't know if you have this kind of feeling sometimes wherein if you're in front of the door of the office of your supervisor or your department head, parang kakatok ba ako o hindi? Papasok ba ako o hindi? Meron tayong sometimes na mga ganong feeling, di ba? So, on part of the supervisor and on part of the department head, kung kayo mga supervisor o kayo mga department head, maganda naman yung magkaroon tayo ng maiparamdam natin yung ating authority doon sa ating members, sa ating mga subordinates. Maganda naman yon. Pero there has to have this sense of feeling that we have to make them feel that hindi tayo intimidating in front of them. Okay? Meron kasing aura sometimes, di ba, na ganon. So we should at least have that kind of feeling na kung saan yung mga members natin doon sa organization, although alam nila that they have this certain restriction when it comes to communicating with the supervisor. Alam niyo, parang halimbawa sa loob ng isang opisina, you will notice that the layout of the office speaks for one's superiority. The moment that you enter the office, you'll notice that ang una mong makikita ay ang sekretarya. And then after that is sa dulo ay andun yun, nasa corner yung lamesa ng superior. Yun po ay language of space. Okay? Yun ay language of space. So, proxemics. So, ibig sabihin lamang no, that before you proceed doon sa superior, of course, you have to deal with first doon sa kanyang sekretarya. That's the hierarchy. And that's the practice. And then, corner, according to study ng proxemics, suggests power. Why? Kasi, katulad na magit ko kanina, in science, based on the study conducted on proxemics, pinoprotektahan natin yung superior natin na nasa dulo. So kaya kumbaga parang sa isang kaharian, bago ka makapasok, dadaan ka muna sa mga armies bago ka makarating dun sa trono. Parang ganun din sa isang opisina. Okay? So, however, despite that kind of layout inside the office, there has to have a certain feeling na dapat ay may paramdam natin sa ating subordinate that they are very much welcome na pumasok doon sa ating opisina. Now, on part of the person communicating to the superior. So these are some of the tips to which I think can help to remind you kasi ito yung mga ginagawa nyo na rin naman. Una, go straight to the point. Do not say unnecessary things, respect their time. So, yung mga supervisor, yung mga department heads, may mga oras din yan at ang dami niyang mga ginagawa. So, if you're going around the bush, so that's taking time. So, go straight to the point. Dapat bago ka palang pumasok doon sa opisina, what are the things or what are the matters that you need to discuss to your supervisor and to your department. Pero, wag naman yung pagkalapit mo sa opisina, ma'am, ito po yung dapat natin gawin. Of course, dapat may mga pasakali pa. Do not forget to greet the person kung hindi familiar yung tao sa atin kasi may mga pagkakataon na gano'n. Ma'am, good morning. Ako po si ganito or I am ganito. So I am in charge of this this project and these are the things that I would like to discuss to you, blah 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 blah. So huwag niyong right away na, ma'am, ito po yung aking project. So of course, you need to greet first, kalilimutan, and then introduce yourself. The person whom you are talking with is not familiar to you. Then go directly to the matters that you would like to discuss to the person or to the supervisor. Okay? So in some instances, it is very important that you have to show numbers in visual representation. Ang laking tulong nun. When presenting numbers to your superior, to your supervisor, don't just present them in paragraph forms. Remember, they don't have time to read the very lengthy paragraph. Okay, don't have that much time to read that very lengthy paragraph. But if you are able to present them some synthesis of the things that you would like to discuss, if you have some numbers and visual representation to present, do so because that really helps to make the conversation more fluid and mas madali. Third, very importantly, schedule your appointment. So do not expect that they are always ready for an ambush talk. They are busy people and their time is precious. So schedule your appointment. Kahit pa sabihin natin that we are very close doon sa supervisor or department head, again, respect their time. So ask permission and when you can approach them to discuss the matters that you would like to tell them. Then fourth, the one that I mentioned to you previously, that you have some set of the things that you would like to discuss. Of course, you have to prepare your agenda. So before speaking to your boss, plan what you need to say, make a list, and this will help you remember all your concerns. Okay? So, iba na ang handa. Be solution-focused. Kapag halimbawa, there are some problems that you encounter along the process of implementing a certain project in your department. So, it's very useful if you will not be just presenting to them the problem. Instead, you can share to them some solutions in mind. Okay? Hindi yung, kasi mas magagalit sa yung boss mo. Bakit hindi mo nagawa yung trabaho mo yan? Kasi ibabalik sa iyo ng boss mo ang tanong Ano sa tingin mo ang dapat natin gawin dyan? When your boss asks you that question, of course, since you are solution focused, you have already a solution in mind, then right away you have something to present. Okay, so these are the things. Actually, there are a lot of things that you need to communicate with your supervisors, with your department head. But these are the things to which I think are very much common in an organization. Okay, so this time, how are you going to communicate with your suppliers? So remember, na-mention ko kanina sa inyo that we also have our external sources, mga external communicators. So one of them is, of course, are the suppliers. So since many of us here are our government offices, and most of us are dealing with suppliers. So these are the things that you need to be particular with when you are communicating with the suppliers. So first, specify what you want. So there are some instances wherein you are writing an order letter. Mamaya, i-discuss there letter, how to write a letter will be discussed to you by Sir Jansen. So when you are communicating with your suppliers, of course, specify what you want. If that is a product, which is specific product would you like to request from them? So kailangan yung specification should be complete. All information should be complete. Okay? So lalo na kapag nasa government offices tayo na talagang they're very much particular of the specifications, they're very much particular of the prices. So you have to specify those things. And again, when specifying what you want, be direct to the point. Huwag na yung masyado pang paligoy-ligoy. Kasi ang gusto ng supplier, ano agad yung gusto mong i-request sa amin? Ano ba yung gusto mong i-purchase sa amin? So, mas madali kung ganun ang iyong i-present. Secondly, avoid jargon. Do not use the jargon that we are using inside the office. There are some instances wherein that specific jargon cannot be understood by our suppliers. So, when we talk of a jargon, it is a term, or these are the terms that refer to a language that is being used in a certain organization or a certain group, by a certain group. So kapag may mga jargons kayo na sa tingin ninyo ay kayo lang nakakaintindi, so wag niyo siyang gagamitin sa inyong mga suppliers. So talk as if they are customers, and remember that even though we are just requesting something from them to purchase, sila ay may kailangan tayo sa kanila. Malay natin, baka sila lang ang pwede natin pagkuha ng supply. So we have to have a good relationship with the suppliers. So put things in paper, mahalaga yan. Sabi nga sa kanta ni Joey Ayala, papel, papel, papel. Kapag wala kang papel, hindi ka makakapapel. Okay? Parang katulad rin sa suppliers. Okay? So put things in paper. So, dapat naka-black and white niyan. So, I'm sure that all of you are particular of the necessary documentation that need to be submitted when seeking for purchase, diba? When purchasing something. So, alam natin yung mga proseso sa papel na yan. So, kailangan lagi naka-black and white. So, aside from the letters or order letter that you have, of course, others specification that needs to be attached or other documents that need to be attached should be supplemented in your communication with the suppliers. Next, communicate regularly. Kahit pasabihin natin na tayo ay nagre-request lamang sa kanila to purchase something at kailangan nila tayo para sila ay kumita. Of course, kailangan din natin sila para magkaroon tayo ng supply. So, we have to communicate regularly. When we talk of communicating regularly to them, ask them for some updates. And when communicating to them, do not be too demanding. Okay? Wag tayong dapat maging demanding even though we are asking for them if there is an availability of this particular supply. So, at least we have to communicate to them favorably, ng maayos, hindi yung tunog demanding tayo sa ating letter. Mamaya, i-discuss sa inyo ni Sir Jansen yung mga ways na yan, kung paano ba talaga tayo mag-communicate ng maayos sa kanila in a form of a letter. Next, communicating with the trade personnel. So, pag sinabi natin trade personnel, ito yung mga people skilled in a specific task. So they're the ones who are providing services. Maintaining constant communication with them is also very important, just like when we are communicating with our suppliers. So just like some tips that I mentioned to you about the suppliers, so be precise with what you want. So most trade personnel want to know what specific things they need to do for you. So halimbawa kung kailangan natin, for example, ng trade service when it comes to constructing something, may pinapagawa tayo, may pinapaayos tayo dun sa ating opisina. So, we have to specify ano ba yung kailangan na ayusin doon, na kailangan yung kanilang serbisyo para unang-una ay alam nila kung ano yung kanilang ipaprepare na mga materials or para makagawa sila ng kanilang sample computation of the amount ng kanilang service. So, ask them how much time is needed to complete their task kasi baka mamaya dekontrata yung kanilang procedure. So, ask them what other things you need to prepare in advance. Do not be too demanding and, of course, know their limitations. So, these are the things that you need to be particular with when it comes to trade personnel. So, again, trade personnel, ito yung mga persons or people that we are seeking help when it comes to certain services. Let's say, for example, fixing something inside the office, pag-aayos constructing something inside the buildings, something like that. Yung mga services offered. Sila yung mga nasa trade personnel. Next is industry bodies. So, ito yung mga it could be mga other businesses na ating kino-communicate. Okay, so you can reach them through email. Okay, so gone are those days kasi that we are sending them yung snail mail, di ba? Although meron pa rin naman mga nag-snail mail, pero very limited na lamang yung mga nag-snail mail kasi napakatagal. And why not take advantage of utilizing our own technology, our communication technology, which is yung paggamit ng email. So, however, mayroong disadvantage naman kasi sa paggamit ng email. Unang-una, there are some instances wherein hindi agad nababasa kasi hindi naman yung katulad ng cellphone na instantly is manonotify ka na mayroong may nag-send sa'yo ng text message or tatawag ka, instantly meron. So, however, it does not mean that we have to not use email. So we can still use email, pero there are some mechanisms that we can utilize in order for us to make them aware that we send an email. It could be one, make some follow-up again about your email. Two, of course, you can call them via phone or via cell phone. Okay, so these are some of the other ways in order for you to reach the industry bodies. Next is be updated on their newsletters and magazines. Baka mamaya may kailangan kayong information sa kanila. So through their newsletters and magazines, that will provide you some information. And then you can also schedule some networking meetings sa kanila. Then with that, you can discuss some matters. Or it could be pwede kayong mag-set ng meetings inside the office or outside the office. Bahala kayo kung sa inyo gustong i-set yung inyong meeting. So, face-to-face, mas applicable siya. Pero if there's some urgent matters, then face-to-face ang kailangan natin. Of course, do not forget to set a schedule. Communicating with local governmental units. So, just like in URS, we are constantly communicating to the local government units, especially whenever we are seeking support from them. So, kaya talagang there is a need for us to be particular of their own process in terms of communicating with them. So, if ever that the LGU is inviting us to attend some activities, then we have to attend. Okay? That's part of our partnership sa kanila. So, kasi lagi naman nila tayong tinutulungan. And more importantly, baka that could be a chance or opportunity for us to also discuss some matters na makakatulong sa ating organization. And we have to be aware of the internal processes that they do. Okay? For example, sa pagpupunta tayo kunwari sa provincial office, bago ka makapunta doon sa opisina ni governor, meron kang dadaan ng proseso. So we have to adhere doon sa kanilang proseso because yun yung sistema nila na sinusunod na dapat na sa tingin nila ay nakakatulong para maging smooth ang flow ng kanilang communication. Yung simpleng flow na yon, yung process na yon, that's part of communication system nila. Okay? So para mas organize yung kanilang delivery of information. So ako whenever I'm doing a follow-up sa LGU at punta po kayo kay ganito, tawag po kayo kay ganito, idadirect ko po kayo kay ganito, idadirect ko po kayo kay ganyan. We have to follow that. We have to be patient kasi minsan may mga pagkakataon talaga na they cannot answer that, then ibabata kayo dun sa isa. May mga ganun mga scenario that we cannot avoid. Okay, so we have to be patient and just to follow their process. Kaya whenever I'm dealing with the LGU, ay alam ko na kung ano yung flow nila. So we have to be particular on that. So whenever we are dealing with not only with the LGU but in other organization, so dapat alam natin yung kanilang internal processes. And then next is directly talking to officials, of course. Again, katulad ng pag-communicate natin doon sa superior at saka sa department head, they also have their time. May mga oras din yung mga yan, lalo na kapag mga mayors or governors or councilors or those with the positions in the government ang ating kakausapin, ay we really need to set a meeting with them. How do we set a meeting? Hindi po dapat na basta lang tayo tatawag. Hindi tayo basta dapat tatawag lang. Pwede po ba kami mag-set ng meeting sa kanila? We have to write a letter. Okay? And then from there, kung yun yung protocol nila, then we have to follow. Okay? But I think based on my encounter naman with the LGs, usually whenever we are seeking for help, or whenever we are asking them na makapag-meet, we write a letter. Okay? So, and then, we do some follow-up. Tinatawagan namin. Okay, kung kaya nyo naman i-access yung opisina ng LGU, ibigay nyo na sa kanila directly yung letter. Okay, kahit hindi nyo na siya i-email. And then monitoring of local government performance is also very important for us to be aware din kung ano na nangyayari sa LGUs as well. Okay, next is communicating with customers or with our clients. So, establish a genuine relationship. Wag naman po yung lalapit sa atin yung client, ano yun? Yung parang galit na agad tayo. Okay? So, parang kakausapin pa lang tayo ng ating kliyente ay nakabusangot na tayo. So, syempre, kapag ikaw yung kliyente, kapag nakita mo nakabusangot na agad yan, parang mawawala ka na rin ng gana, parang may imbibe na rin yung mukha niya. Parang ganun. Okay, so whenever we are dealing with the clients, we have to present them, we have to deal with them properly. Okay, hindi yung dapat ay galit na agad ang boses natin sa kanila. Okay, so let's just be understanding that there are some clients na makukulit talaga. And then secondly, listen very well. Listen very well. Kasi baka mamaya meron silang mga request, then we are not able to capture their request. And then, ano nga uli yun? Paulit-ulit. Diba? So, hanggang sa mayamot na sa yung customers because you're not paying attention. Okay? So, you really need to listen well. So, use easy words and not jargon when explaining complex topics. Remember that not all of your clients is as brilliant as you, as knowledgeable as you, or know the jargon that you are using. So as much as possible, use the right term for them, the easy words that can be easily understood by your client. Okay, so if there are some issues and concerns or misunderstanding, you have to address that immediately. Okay, so para hindi na lumaki pa. Okay, kasi ngayon napaka na lang pribilehiyo ng mga tao eh. So Magsusulat agad dyan doon sa 888 ng Malacanang. Tapos, i-address agad yung issues and concern. Then, ibababa agad sa'yo. Then, you need to answer right away. Okay? So, meron ng mga ganong mga scenario or situation. Okay? So, whenever there are some misunderstandings or issues with the clients, then address that immediately. Kaya namang masolusyonan right away. Okay? And as a customer and guest, kapag tayo naman yung nakipag-communicate doon sa kausap natin sa opisina, of course, dapat marunong din tayo ng makisuyo. Kasi nakikisuyo lamang tayo sa kanila eh. Hindi yung tipong sasabihin niya na, government employee din ako. Alam ko mga prosesong ganyan. Okay? Hindi yung ganun, parang ini-impose mo agad yung position mo. Ako ay ganito sa aming hindi ako dati na ganyan. We should not do that. Okay? I'm sure that some of you have encountered that kind of that client. So if we are the clients or the customer, dapat marunong din tayong makisuyo sa tao. Okay? Marunong tayong makipag-usap sa kanila. Kasi the more na hindi tayo marunong makisuyo or makiusap sa kanila, the more na baka hindi nila tayo pansinin or the more na hindi nila tayo i-entertain at ayusin yung dapat nating ipakisuyo sa kanila because we are not treating them fairly. So we have to have that kind of attitude, a good attitude. Kasi give and take lang naman yan. Diba? Sabi nga dun sa kumakalat na video, gets begets. Nabanood yun na buhay yung video na yun. Yung customer na galit doon sa isa pang customer. Sabi niya, gets begets. Respect gets. Okay. Tapos sabi niya isang customer, wag mo ako ma-English. Mali-mali naman yung grammar. I don't know if you have watched that video. Okay? So, address issues or misunderstanding immediately. Okay. So, here are some tips you can apply in order to keep connected with your customers or your clients. So, ito yung mga approaches din na ginagawa ng other organization. They are sending newsletters, e-newsletters, or emails informing them of new promos or offers or some services that they're offering. So, pwede yan. Give out survey sheets to see their needs and opinions. Customer survey satisfaction will do. You can use social media platforms to keep your audience informed and be updated. So, kapag kayo ay in charge sa inyong social media, dapat meron kayong social media planning that on this particular day, these are the things that we need to post. Meron kayong plano on that particular week. Okay? So that is the social media platforms to keep them updated. Now, handling difficult customers, we apologize. If there's a for us to apologize, then apologize, give apology. Immediately say sorry to the persons involved. And there has to have an attempt to solve the problem. And if you can no longer control the situation at kailangan na talaga ng support, then alert your supervisor. Then let the supervisor do his duties to solve that issue or to solve that problem. Okay? So that is one way of handling a difficult customers or clients. Or the people that we are serving inside the office. Okay, now, ang isang communication din, hindi lang naman yan dapat ay through words lang. May mga elemento tayong dapat na tingnan. Ano ba yung tamang boses kapag tayo kumakausap sa isang tao? Dapat bang lagi tayong pagalit? Ano po yun? Ano pong kailangan ninyo? Ano nga uli? Yun ba? O sige, fill upan mo tong form na to. Galit ang tono. Tapos sasabihin ng ay ganyan lang po talaga ang punto niyan. Talagang maragsa magsalita. Okay? So, pero kung kaya naman natin i-tone down yung ating boses at in a natural way. So, we have to practice that. Especially kapag tayo nasa front office. Napakahalaga po nun. Kapag nasa tayo nagpa-front office service tayo. So, use the right tone. Use the right volume. Rate. Huwag dapat mabilis magsalita. Kung kailangang bagal-bagal natin yung pagsasalita, ay bagalan natin. Huwag tayo yung, itong dapat lang mong gawin. Una, dapat i-fill up itong form. Pangalawa, dapat itong gawin mo. Pangatlo, pumunta ka sa cashier, doon ka magbayad. Pagkatapos mo doon, pumunta ka rito. Pumalik ka rito at dito, bibigay ko na sa enroll ka na. Hindi ganoon. Okay? So, dapat ay rahan-rahan tayong magsasalita sa kanila. Articulation is very important. Hindi naman necessarily mean that you have to articulate as if you're following how the Americans articulate their words. So articulation in a way na dapat ay at least we can be understood with the person whom we are talking with. Okay? And then the proper accent will do. And then appearance. Good appearances can also maintain a good first impression. Especially kapag nandun tayo in front office, tapos ang itsura natin, gulo-gulo ang buhok, di pa then we have to present ourselves properly. Kahit sabi ko nga, kahit napapagod, hindi dapat magmukhang pangit. Kahit pagod, dapat maganda pa rin. And then, posture, how you position your body matters. Okay? So, hindi lamang ito nakakatulong para mas magmukha tayong presentable in front of the person that we are talking with. Pero ang posture din naman ay mayroong health benefits sa atin. Okay? Especially kapag yung trabaho ninyo ay maghapon kayong nakaupo in front of the camera, talagang tutok kayo in front of a computer, in front of the camera, ano pala, host, in front of the computer. So, malaki rin naman nagtutulong mo. So, stretch kayo, is in your posture nyo. And then, ito yung na-mention ko sa inyo kanina pa, attitude. Right attitude builds a team and makes a person more agreeable in the workplace. Hindi yung laging galit, laging nakabusangot, always wear a smile. Lagi kayong ngingiti, pero wag yung ngiting pilit na pilit. Hello po, good morning po. Smile naturally. Okay? So make that a habit. And i-workshop nyo yung sarili niyo in front of the mirror on how you will be smiling beautifully in front of your customer. Remember, communication is not all about the words that you're using to a person. It is all about the totality of how you present yourself to them, based on how you use your voice properly, based on your appearance, based on your posture, and more importantly, how you present to them with a good and proper attitude. Okay, so that will make you more agreeable in the workplace. Okay, I hope you will be reminded of these things. May audio pa rin po ba ako? Nakabigla naman ako na mute.
Yes po, may audio po.
Yes po, sir.
Thank you. Next, ito naman. Completing your completing relevant work-related documents. I do hope that I'm actually halfway through my presentation. I do hope that you are being reminded of all these things. So just like what I keep on mentioning to you a while ago, these are the things that we are already doing, but we are forgetting them the moment that we are already dealing with the persons whom we are communicating with. So this only just serve as some sort of reminders to all of us to know how to communicate properly in the office. So inside the office as well, we are completing relevant work-related documents. So some of which are the letters, the memorandum, the circular, and the notice. So we have to be particular on these 4 common documents. So I think later, i-discuss sa inyo ni Sir Jansen yung how to write all these documents. And then determine authorizations and permissions. So dapat kapag kayo ay magsusulat ng letter, alam nyo kung sino ba ang person whom you are dealing with. Kung kayo ay halimbawa ay sekretarya ng isang opisina, dapat aware kayo kung sino ba yung dapat na susulatan ng letter. You should know how the person should be addressed. Okay? Minsan kasi, Mrs. ba or Miss? Nalilito tayo. Mas safer tayo kapag gagamitin natin yung Miss. Pero, meron ako nakita, sa ko ba nabasa ito? Ay, sa UP, yung nakapasa yung anak ni Karen Davila. Yung kanyang special child na anak. Nakapasa ng Associate Arts sa UP Diliman. Nakita ko dun sa letter ng UP, MX. Tapos yung pangalan ng bata, 'di ba? MX. So gender neutral yung dinagay doon. ng UP Diliman, doon sa kolehiyo nila, okay, MX. So, we have to be particular as well on how we should be addressing the person. Okay, baka mamaya yung iba, very much particular sa title. Okay, baka mapasama pa tayo doon. So, pag-aralan nyo yun kung paano ba dapat. So, baka yung iba na-offend kapag hindi sila tinawag na doktor, o pag hindi sila tinawag na engineer, o pag hindi sila tinawag na attorney.
Yes po.
Okay, so again, indeterminate authorizations and permissions. So aside from you should be particular of the delegated person who should be authorized to sign certain documents. Aside from that, we should also be particular on how we should be addressing these people. Okay? So, again, baka yung iba, matawag yung Mr. Miss pala sila. Pero kapag ako natawag yung Miss, hindi ako magrereklamo sa inyo. Walang problema. Ngitian ko pa kayo. Pero, again, in many cases, yung ibang tao, they are very much particular on that. Okay, next is identify any rules and formats that apply. Kevin, paki-edit out na lang yung mga, mga ganitong mga mute. Biglang Okay, identify any rules and formats that apply. So we should be particular. Kapag kayo halimbawa ay in charge doon sa opisina ninyo, dapat alam nyo kung ano yung format na ginagamit nyo. Kaya napakaganda ng ginawang initiative ng office nila, Ma'am Joyce Gagalang. Ang laking tulong sa buong university na nagkaroon tayo ng standard na format ng letter. So ginawa na tayo ng standard na letterhead, pati yung font, proper font, mga ganon. And kapag magko-communicate sa ganitong office, ito ang gagamitin. So nakita natin yung naging impact nun sa ating organization sa URS. So kapag nagtatrabaho din, kalimbawa sa inyong organization, respective organization, so kung wala pa kayong ganong initiative, so maganda meron na kayong ganong standardized na format. Okay? So identify any rules and formats that apply. So Sir Johnson will be discussing to you about the rules and formats when it comes to communication letters. And then, more importantly, check your information thoroughly. Baka mamaya may nami-miss out tayong mga information. And aside from that, part of that as well is to check our grammar. Minsan kasi sa pagmamadali natin, meron tayong mga nami-miss katulad nung kahapon lang ako ay sobrang busy ko sa nung nakarang araw, sobrang busy ko sa accreditation namin. And then, I wrote a letter to our partner. And then, not my partner, to our partner organization. To our partner organization. Kasi baka kung anong isipin ni Miss Ella. Okay, to our partner organization. Okay, so, yung binasa ko ulit yung letter ko kasi akala ko, okay na siya. Yung binasa ko yung letter, sabi ko doon sa kausap, Sir, can I retrieve the letter? Kasi nakakahiya kay Father, siya yung kausap ko. Kay Father, kasi Catholic school yun. Kay Father, baka makita niyo yung grammar ko. Then, sabi niya, Sir, nasend ko na. Is it possible to retrieve the letter? Ganun yung ginawa. Buti na lang, very much accommodating. So, as much as possible, iwasan natin yun. Then, iwasan natin yung ganun. So, we have to be self-critical. We have to edit it. To read again our work. Or, madali naman na kasi we have Grammarly. So, para kapag may nami-miss tayong mga subject-verb agreement, may nami-miss tayong mga prepositions, mga words, ang laking tulong ni Grammarly talaga. So, hindi nyo naman siya pinagawa, hindi naman yung pinagawa kay ChatGPT, yun kayo naman ang gumawa. Pero, para ma-check lang yung grammar ninyo. So, ang laking tulong ni Grammarly para makita yung mga basic subject-verb agreement na nami-miss out natin kapag tayo ay nagsusulat na ng letter. So aside from the information, we should also be considerate as well of the sentence construction, the proper punctuation marks, the proper capitalization, or the grammar in general. Baka kasi i-generalize tayo, ganito pala lahat ng mga taga-URS. Okay, next. This is similar to what I mentioned to you a while ago when we are dealing with the LGUs. So, observe administration's protocol. So, Some of the areas covered by administrative protocols may include designated officers required to approve or sign a document. So, although some may say that there is some negative effect of following some bureaucratic approach or bureaucracy, kasi very common yun sa ating bansa, yung bureaucracy, na bago ka dumaan ay kailangan mo munang, bago mo mapadala yung isang papel sa isang opisina, ay kailangan dumaan muna yan dito at ipasa rito at ipasa rito. Ang purpose noon is para ma-check and balance natin, para ma-check natin. Hindi yung kasi kapag halimbawa nagsulat tayo ng letter at right away dinirekta natin doon sa person involved. So baka mamaya meron tayong mga nami-missed out, baka may mga errors, diba? Which is unlike with kapag yan ay dumaan doon sa tamang channel, aside from respecting the offices who are in charge of the said documentation. Kasi baka mamaya, kailangan pala ng involvement nila doon, tapos tumekta ka doon sa isang, sa tao. So, nang bypass ka. So, makakot unaware yung mga taong linampasan mo na hindi nila alam na meron palang mga ganitong mga pangyayari, hindi kami aware. So, which is unlike, kapag halimbawa, ay dumaan ka sa tamang proseso, dumaan niya sa ganitong opisina, sa ganyang opisina, sa ganitong opisina. Although may pagka-bureaucratic, pero at some point, there is some advantages on that. Una, ay na-inform natin yung mga person in charge or person involved. Pangalawa, nagkakaroon ng check and balance. Na-check kung mayroon bang mali doon sa ating ginawa. So, if we are communicating within or outside the organization, we have to be particular with the designated officers and offices to approve or send a document. So, it's very important as well to set time frames for completion or submission. So, sabi mo, natatagalan ako sa bureaucracy natin. Sobrang tagal. Sana inag-aagahan mo para hindi tumagal ng ganyan. Kaya sana na-anticipate mo na merong mga ganitong pagdaraanan para sana nakapag-adjust ka ng iyong time frame. So, restriction on who can access or use the information is very important na napakahigpit ng ating batas when it comes to data privacy, mga yan. So, there has to have some restrictions on who can access or use the information. Okay? There are also a need for us to have storage and archiving requirements, obtaining comparative posts for goods and services, yung mga quotation natin. So, ilan lang yan sa mga protocol. But in general, one thing that I would like to point out in administration's protocol is the proper channeling of the messages. So, dapat aware tayo doon. So, kung halimbawa meron tayong i-coordinate na tao, we can inquire muna, kanina po ba dapat, ano po ba ang mga requirements. So, maganda yung ganun hindi yung ora-orada, pupunta ka agad doon, tapos may magsasubmit ka kaagad. So, minsan nadi-disappoint tayo na sayang yung pamasahe, sayang yung oras. Pero sana, ang ginawa ninyo before you proceed to a certain office, inalam nyo muna ano yung proseso, ano yung requirements. Okay? Para the moment that you go there, and aside from kung ano yung requirements, dalhin nyo pa kung ano yung mga, ano pa yung mga sa tingin nyo hihingin. So, next is, pay particular attention to how well your document conveys your message through its purpose, message, and audience. Pag nagsusulat kayo ng any documentation, it could be a letter, a memorandum, or a circular, or a notice, or even minutes, or even a notice submitting. You have to set, ano ba yung purpose nitong aking letter, ano ba yung purpose ng aking memorandum, ano ba yung message. Kapag ito ba ay sinulat ko, mukha bang offending, mukha bang demanding. Alam nyo, malaking tulong yung ginagawa ng iba, na ang ginagawa nila ay pinapabasa nila sa iba. Pakibasa nga ito, kapag ikaw ang babasa, ano yung tono ng pagkakasulat ko? Ano yung sa tingin mo magiging impact nito sa babasa? Okay? So, maganda yung ganong habit. If you are not so sure of how you write your message, how you write your letter, the layout of the information. Sabi nga ni Shakespeare, an apparel proclaims a man. An apparel proclaims a man. Gusto sabihin ni Shakespeare that what you are wearing will tell who you are. People will judge you based on your appearance. So, what is the relevance of the quote by William Shakespeare on what I mean about the layout of the information. Kung halimbawa, yung inyong letter ay hindi maganda yung pagkaka-format at nabasa ito ng halimbawa ay gusto nyo maging partner sa isang proyekto, sasabihin niya, ay, bakit ganito yung pagkakasulat? Mukhang, ay, bakit ganito yung itsura? Kasi before they will read your work, before they will read your letter, they will already judge you based on the appearance of your letter. Ako minsan nayayamot ako dun sa mga iba-ibang mga font. Bakit ito? Iba-iba yung font size. Babasahin mo. Although the content is there. Sabi nga natin, even though content is the king, pero how you present yourself truly matters a lot. Okay? So kaya kapag kayo ay magsusulat ng letter, dapat tingnan ninyo, tama ba yung spacing ko? Maayos ba yung spacing ko? Baka ito bang font ko, ginagamit ko is Jokerman. O ganun. So gamitin nyo yung tamang font size, tamang font style, tamang spacing. Sinusunod ko ba yung tamang format ng letter? Ako ba ay naka full black? Ako ba ay naka modified block format? Ako ba ay naka hanging indent format? So, dapat aware kayo sa mga ganun. Kaya, again, maganda yung isang organization, meron na kayong template, katulad yung naging initiative ng office nila, Ma'am Joyce, na sa OPA. Meron ng template talaga, guided kami. So, use of headings, paragraphs to make the document easy to read. Ang rule ko nga rito, kapag nagtuturo ako ng letter writing sa mga student ko, 1 paragraph, 1 idea. 1 paragraph, and then meron akong template sa kanila, brief, content, close, may mga ganong content. So, di ko napapasada, binanggit ko lang, pero si Sir Johnson will be discuss that in detail. Okay? So, use of headings and paragraphs to make a document easy to read. Then, if there's a need, use of logos, disclaimers, privacy, and copyright statement will do as well. So, pwede nyo siyang ilagay within the letter, the disclaimers, and privacy, copyright statement within the letter, you can present that. Okay? Next, participating workplace meetings and discussion. So these are the things on what you can do whenever you are participating in the workplace. Let's say, whenever you are participating in civil conversation with your colleagues, paano ba tayo makipag-coordinate sa kanila? And giving, receiving constructive feedback, paano ba dapat? How can we get first impression? Sabi nila, first impressions last. How we should treat people and how should we behave during the meetings. So I'll be giving you tips in terms of participating in civil conversations with colleagues. Una, do not be afraid to ask for clarifications, especially when there are things you do not understand. Okay? So if we are someone who noticed na parang itong taong to hindi nagsasalita, then try to encourage them to speak. Okay? Polite languages is a good form of impression. Using the words please, thank you, or will you is helpful in constructing polite statements. Okay? So be particular on this. And you can express likes, dislikes, and interest in a very subtle way. Kapag halimbawa ay meron tayong hindi nagustuhan tungkol doon sa suggestion ng isang tao, huwag naman natin awayin yung tao. Okay? There is the proper way in order for us to address that in such a way na hindi natin sila pinapagalitan or hindi natin sila inaaway. Okay? Now, giving and receiving constructive feedback. I'm sure all of you are particular with the sandwich technique, pero kasi we're trying to avoid na hindi ma-hurt yung taong kausap natin. Even though kahit pa sabihin natin na yung taong iyon ay madalas natin nakakasalamuha, at some point, kultura kasi nating mga Pilipino ito eh, hindi naman sa iba kasing mga kultura talagang they will say what they want to say eh. Pero sa kultura nating Pilipino, ginagamit natin itong sandwich technique. Especially, lalo tayo mga teachers, di ba? Ayaw nating masaktan yung ating mga estudyante. So, ginagawa natin to. So, ano ba itong sandwich technique? Una, binabanggit muna natin yung positive feedback. ano yung magandang nagawa doon sa kanilang presentation. Halimbawa, kapag may nagpe-present ng project proposals, and then we acknowledge the efforts, we acknowledge how they have come up with that kind of project. And then from after that is we will be giving them constructive criticism, and then we give another positive feedback. Okay, so we call it the sandwich criticism. Kaya halimbawa, a workmates is too energetic and positive every morning. Diba, napakaganda naman yun sa isang opisina na meron tayong kasama energetic at nagbibigay sa atin ng positive vibes every morning. Pero, it distracts other employees from working. So, what if we encounter this kind of employee? Sige nga, para naman merong participation sa inyo. Tayo ay mag-Q&A. What if nasa ganito kayong scenario? Halimbawa, anyone who would like to share? Anyone po? A workmate is too energetic and positive every morning. Talagang Bibo Kid of the Week lagi ang peg. Pero sa tingin mo is parang nakaka-distract na siya. So, paano mo sila i-confront? Anyone? Sino po ang gustong mag-share? Sino pong gusto mag-share? Sino pong gusto mag-share dito? Papaano ko kayo na sa ganyang sitwasyon? Ayan. Hindi ko kayo nakikita lahat eh. Anyone po who would like to share? But if naka-encounter kayo ng ganyan na employee, paano nyo sasabihin sa kanya? Magtawag po ba ako rito sa mga kakilala ko? Parang gustong sumagot ni Miss Ella.
Hello po, good morning po. Kung gusto po natin sa mga pwede po tayo mag-raise ng hands.
Sige, Miss Ella. Miss Ella. Paano mo sasabihin yan? Si Kevin yan, napaka-energetic ni Kevin kahit kabaligtaran, ano? Dahil pa si Kevin.
How would you confront this situation? Hirap naman, sir. Kasi parang ako yung ganito eh.
Halimbawa.
Po, sir, si Ma'am Ramona.
Sige, Ma'am Ramona.
Ito po. I-praise po natin yung kanyang effort. Then sabihan po natin siya na by next time ay medyo bawasan po yung energy niya. Para naman sa iba na hindi masyado maka-appreciate sa effort niya. Tama po ba daw?
Parang ganito lang yan, Miss Emma. Tama yon. Ayun, parang ganun yung sinabi kanina nung natin. Sa chat ba yan? Halimbawa, Janet.
Yes po.
I notice your bright aura every morning and it's just refreshing. Janet, I notice your bright aura every morning and it's just refreshing since it's also encouraging to some of us here in the office. However, I heard that it can somehow be a bit distracting to your other workmates. So let's try to balance the positive energy and the interaction between you and your workmates. But it is encouraging, Janita. Some have affirmed you for having an encouraging aura. So kumbaga, on the first sentence, talagang positive. And then on the succeeding, on the however dito, and then up to this sentence, the second sentence, you'll notice that nagbigay naman siya ng constructive criticism. Hindi niya totally sinasabi na wag kang ganyan, wag kang ganito. So at least sabi niya, try to balance the positive energy and the interactions between you and your workmates. So, and then sa dulo sinabi niya, some have affirmed you for having an encouraging aura. So, sandwich style. Okay? So, next, good first impression. So, whenever we're talking, it's part of the culture in our country that we have to maintain eye contact. In other culture, they don't do that because for them, it's a form of disrespect. But in our country, so whenever we're talking to someone, kahit pa sabihin natin na yan ay supervisor natin. So, sa iba kasi, di ba, ibang bansa, especially in some other Asian countries, na if you're talking to higher ranking officials, talagang you have to bow. You have not to, you are not allowed to look at their eyes because again, for them, that is a form of disrespect. But in our country, dapat lagi tayong nakipag-eye contact. Pero kapag halimbawa, ang gwapo ng kausap mo, take advantage. Diba? Ang gwapo ng kausap mo, maintain eye contact. Baka mamaya kaka-maintain. Pero kaka-maintain eye contact nyo, baka mamaya yung sasabihin nyo na mali-mali na. Talagang hindi ka nakakapagsalita. Miscommunication na agad. Meron na agad barrier to communication. Diba nga sinasabi natin na one of the barriers to communication is the physical appearance. Kapag halimbawa ay napakagwapo, napaganda ng kausap mo, naka-maintain, naka-eye contact ka na lang all through o tapos tumutulo ang lawa. Wag naman gano'n. So again, kapag meron tayong nagagapuan o nagaganda sa isang tao, compose yourself para to Sir Badge. Kahit gaano pa kagwapo yan. Marunong akong umart at compose ang sarili ko at nakikinig pa rin ako. Maintain eye contact. And genuinely smile at people. Maka naman halos makausap mo, madaanan mo sa kanto, gingiti, hello. Naging miscongeniality ka na. Okay? But whenever you're dealing with your customers, with your clients, or among the members of your organization, wag naman yung papasok ka pa lamang dun sa opisina, nakabusangot ka na nakaganyan. Naka-poker face ka na. Hindi mo ba alam na yung ganong aura ay na-absorb ng mga kasamahan mo na imbis na pagkapasok mo sa opisina ay nakangiti ka, pagkapasok pala nakasimangot ka na syempre na-absorb yun ng mga kasamahan mo sa paligid. Diba? So genuinely smile at people, especially inside the organization. Dress professionally and be alert, avoid falling asleep during meetings. Dapat marunong kayong magpanggap at marunong kayong wag nakapikit kunwari. Nakapikit ka na nakapoise pa rin, nakaganyan. Pero ang totoo, natutulog na. Okay? We avoid falling asleep. Or sabi ko nga dyan, wag magpapahuli. Okay. So entreating people, learn people's names. Learn people's names. Okay, keep their business cards. Pero ako talaga, mayroon akong problema minsan I keep on forgetting the names of the person I'm dealing with. Kaya minsan, I try to pretend that I know them. But I'm particular with the person's face. Okay, so hanggang sa didiscard na lang ako kung paano makukuha yung pangalan niya. Okay, so forgetting people's names will make it seem like you do not care about the person. Pero sometimes, yung pagkakataon talaga na hindi naman natin sinasadya nakalimutan yung pangalan. Kaya lang talaga may mga pagkakataon na minsan may mental block tayo. Okay? So, let's us just try to pretend that we know the person. Kung particular man tayo sa itsura niya. And then, find time to know the name of the person. So, pwedeng strategy is makinig ka or halimbawa, may kausap siya, magtanong ka, sino ka dito? Diba? Meron tayong mga ganung strategy. So, do not judge people based on their job position. Insulting po nun. Ganyan ka lang, ganito ka lang. Kaya nga, minsan, it's too offending to ask, it's too offending to ask the position of the person is in the company. Minsan kasi sila, yung mga taong kausap natin, they do not want to reveal kung ano yung position nila. So, the best thing to do that, may mga organizational structure naman, everywhere in the office for sure. Meron ka makikita mga organizational structure, be particular na lang sa kanila. Okay? Ito pa, be careful when sharing your personal life with coworkers, yung mga marites. Hindi mo alam, baka chinichismis ka na yan sa iba. Di ba? Yung mga behind you. So, if you're talking about personal life with coworkers, make sure trustful yung taong yun. Okay? Someone you can trust. Respect people's personal space. No proxemics. Ito yung nababanggit ko sa inyo kanina lang about proximity, about proxemics na inside the office, kaya nga nasa dulo yung yung superior kasi maraming ginagawa yan. So you have to seek first the permission of the secretary before you proceed on sa space ng taong yun. Okay? Before getting overly familiar or comfortable, check whether the other person is comfortable. Baka mamaya kwento-kwento, feeling close ka sa taong yun pero hindi ka aware. Hindi pala siya comfortable na kausap ka. Be particular on that. So matuto kayong magbasa ng behavior ng isang tao. So the technique, just be aware. At sa tingin ninyo ay parang hindi siya komportable sa topic na pinag-uusapan ninyo, it could be try to change the topic and or it could be find way to stop the conversation in a nice way. Pwede mong sabihin na, can I leave you for a while? Meron na akong kakausapin. Thank you. And then leave. Okay? So, hindi yung parang nagsimula ka ng conversation, bigla ka na lang tatayo at aalis. So, pwedeng may closure pa rin. Sino bang ayaw ng closure? Diba? Lahat naman tayo gusto ng closure kahit sa simpleng conversation. Diba? Ayaw nating nag-ghost tayo. Okay? During meetings, arrive on time, do not judge people, listen very well, express your opinions politely, avoid confrontations. Okay? Avoid confrontations. Now, ayan. I can't help to discuss about social media, email, and text messaging. Kasi minsan ay nakakalimot tayo on how should we be interacting using the electronic media. Okay? So how should we be communicating through your social media, how we should be communicating through email, how we should be communicating through text messaging. Okay? Again, in social media, although the main goal, the main purpose of social media is to connect each and every one of us. We know that one of the advantages of social media is it really helps us to send the message directly. It helps us to connect people na matagal nating nakikita, nagiging updated tayo sa kanila through social media. At some point, yes, maganda ang itudulot at naitutulong sa atin ng social media. But social media, as we all know, is prone to misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. Social media has this tendency for us to make use of social media as extensions of our lives. Wherein there is some tendency na, in as much as we want, ang ironic na, we don't want others to invade our privacy. Pero pag titingnan mo yung kanyang mga pinagpo-post, hindi ba yon means of invading your privacy? Parang you're letting people to invade your privacy by just merely posting things about you on the social media. So there are things that we need to post, restrict at i-limit lamang natin yung mga gusto nating i-share doon. So we should know how to filter those information that we're sharing. Baka kasi mamaya, hindi lang naman yung privacy natin yung na-invade. Minsan kasi, di ba, nagiging waste pa ito ng mga masasama ang loob para tayo ay mag-take advantage sa atin, di ba? So, if you are working in an organization, stay professional and polite, especially sa nature ng trabaho ninyo kapag kinakailangan ng professionalism and being polite. Okay? So, tayo makapagbardagulan, huwag tayo makapag-ahaway doon. And as much as possible, if you would like to share some things on social media, and we have to elevate the discourse. We have to elevate our conversation to them in an intellectual discourse. Okay? Hindi yung parang nagmumukha tayong taga-kanto lamang dyan na nakikisabayan tayo sa kanila. elevate the discourse, an intellectual discourse in social media. Don't spread gossip and malicious content. Sabi nga, you have to research, you have to verify, and you have to cross-check the information. Okay? There are many ways for you to correct that. There are many ways for you to validate the information. Kanino ba galing ang information? Baka mamaya, check nyo. Kasi minsan may mga pagkakataon na talagang sa unang tingin natin, akala natin yun ay Philippine Star. Akala natin Inquirer. Kasi ginagaya nila yung branding noong news organization na yon. So, i-share natin. Makakita lamang tayo ng mga quotes. Iniisip agad natin na yun ang mismo sinabi ng isang tao. Makita lang natin na nandun yung mukha ng tao, na quote-unquote, nakalagay doon yung kanyang pangalan, i-share na agad natin without us verifying, sinabi ba talaga ito ng taong ito? Saan niya ito sinabi? Okay? So, don't spread gossip and malicious content. Don't share personal information. Okay, limit nyo lang yung mga personal information nyo doon. Kung as much as possible nga, itago nyo eh. Okay? Lalo pa, minsan, ang ginagawa kasi natin ay, kung ano yung birthday natin, yun yung password natin. Diba? May mga pagkakataon. Baka mamaya ay may mag-attempt na i-hack yung ating Facebook. Tapos, ginamit lamang yung mga information doon na nilagay mo sa Facebook mo. So, there's a possibility na baka ma-hack yung iyong information. Okay? So, when using social media as a workplace communication tool, stay professional when chatting with others. Stay professional. Unless otherwise, you have already established a certain rapport doon sa taong yun. Okay? Meron kasing iba, may pagkakataon kasi, di ba, na kahit katrabaho natin, pero barkada natin. Okay, may mga pagkakataon na gano'n. Just to reiterate the things that I would like to mention to you a while ago. Okay, so when we are communicating to other people, so see to it that whenever we're sharing information sa social media, check natin. San ba yung source? San galing yung source? Check nyo yung date. Baka mamaya yung announcement ng walang pasok, yung 2022 pa yan. Usong-uso yan, ginagawa ng mga bata. 2021 pa yan. Okay? Sino yung nagsulat? Relevant ba yung taong yon? Okay? Saan niya ba shinare yun? Okay? So, kapag meron kayo nakitang video right away, do not share that. Check nyo muna yung video. Okay? Kasi ang dami na magagaling mag-edit ng video ngayon. Ang dami ng magaling magtahi-tahi ng videos na nagmumukhang parang isang naratibo na kung saan ay yung naratibo ay nababalik na. Yung maling impormasyon nagiging totoo. Maraming ganyang mga naratibo sa social media. Kaya dapat bilang mga professional ay maging aware tayo sa ganyan. Ako mismo, sometimes I being called out by my students. So, sir, ano po yan? Mali po yung ano yung na-share. Okay, then I delete it right away. So kapag meron tayong mga na-encounter na mga taong ganun, and then we have to inform them that you are sharing a false information. Walang ganyang mga balita. Okay? Kapag meron ng announcement ng walang pasok, sabi ko, meron na bang memo? Huwag muna kayo magkakalat ng walang pasok hanggat walang memo. Huwag nyo muna ipagkakalat sa chat group natin. Labas nyo muna yung memo. Kapag meron sige, walang pasok. Okay? So, again, when we're talking in the workplace, stay professional when chatting with others, but just like what I mentioned to you, there's some instances wherein kaklose na natin yung tao. Okay? Very casual tayo makapag-converse sa kanila. Pero what if you're conversing to others na nun mo lang nakilala, nun mo lang nakausap? So you have to stay professional. So you may talk informally if the conversation permits, but never forget to address people accordingly. Double check your messages or your posts. Okay, when sending email, always add a subject. Yan, always add a subject. Tungkol basta, ang laking tulong ng subject kasi, ang purpose niyan ay para ma-prioritize ng isang babasa. Halimbawa, nakita niya, this is an urgent concern. So, I need to act on it. Diba? Merong mga ganon. So, dapat maglalagay ka dyan ng subject mo. Minsan naka-encounter ako yung bata talagang hindi nagko-communicate properly. Kung ano mismo, natawa ako imbis na mainis, katawa ko. Yung mismong content ng letter, kinopy-paste, nilagay doon sa subject. Tawang-tawa ako doon sa batang. Okay. And then, know the difference between BCC and CC. So, BCC stands for blind carbon copy and CC stands for carbon copy. Kapag halimbawa ay nag-BCC kayo, yung taong lang na nakalagay sa BCC ang makakatanggap ng the same messages. So, hindi niya malalaman na ito yung mga other people na nakatanggap mo. Pero kapag halimbawa naka-CC, carbon copy, kapag na-receive yun yung tao na naka-CC, so malalaman niya, aside from you, who are the other people who will be receiving your letter. Sa BCC, hindi. Naka-blind carbon copy yun. So, siya lang yung makakita na mismong messages na pinadala. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. So, that serves purpose, depende sa inyo kung anong purpose ninyo sa inyong letter. So, when sending email, address the recipient properly, similar with how you will be addressing the person on your letter. So, know your recipient, know their full name and position, and then add the proper salutation. So, compose your email as if composing a formal letter. So, yung ibang ginagawa, kung ano mismo yung naka-attach na letter, kinaka-copy-paste at yun mismo yung linalagay nila doon. Para nga naman, ang purpose lamang ng naka-attach na letter is for filing purpose at para rin makita nila yung communication letter mo na pwede nilang i-print. Okay? Kasi ang ginagawa ng iba, piniprint nila yon sa kanila binibigay doon sa kanilang superior. So, be cautious when replying to all. Ayan. Anong pinagkaiba? Pag reply all, lahat ng mga naka-CC doon makakatanggap ng mababasa yung letter, yung sinulat mong letter. Pero nakapag-reply ka lang, dun lang sa person na yun yung makakabasa ng iyong reply. So be particular kay reply tsaka reply all. Okay? Kasi minsan ang ginagawa ay meron ka palang direct concern doon sa taong yon, nag-reply all ka. So mababasa lahat ng mga pinagsend ng same messages mo. Pero kapag naka-reply ka lang, dun lang sa person na yun yung reply mo. So, take note of that as well. Okay? When sending email, check your attachments. Minsan, sa kakamadali natin, wala palang naka-attach. Pero minsan, sa kakamadali natin, iba pala yung naka-attach. So, if you have attachment, you can state that in your email, pwede mong sabihin na, attached in this email is or attached here with it. Napaka-talino na ni Google, ni Gmail kasi talaga meron na siyang nakalagay na mga suggestions na mga sentence. Diba? Attached here with is a copy of automatic lalabas na yung sentence. I-click mo na lang. Merong ganong magic si Gmail. So, rename the files before attaching it. Baka nakalagay doon final letter, last na to. Final letter, last na to. Nakalagay doon parang nung kayo nagko-file name ng yung thesis, 'di ba? Thesis 1 final na to. Okay? So rename the files properly. So if you are sending large files, ask permission first. If the file is directed to the drive, also stated in your email. So kapag halimbawa ay i-direct yung letter, gusto nyo sabihin na nasa Google Drive yung inyong letter or yung inyong files, then you have to mention that in your paper or in your letter or in your email. So attach the file can be accessed on this link. So include sign-offs before your name. Example, sincerely yours, respectfully yours, regards. Lagay nyo yan. So when sending text message, although nagsisend kayo ng message, dapat formal pa rin ang inyong pagkakasulat. Pero since we are limiting our characters, kahit wag na kayo maglagay ng dear, ganito, ganyan. So maglagay na lang kayo ng halimbawa, good morning, Miss Guinevere Evergreen. I am ganito, ganyan, ganyan. This is with regard to the blah, 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 blah. Is it your concern? So always begin it with the greetings, then introduce yourself, and then state your purpose. So, ganun. And then, bagaman nagtitipid kayo sa character, ba kasi 160 characters lang, make it a habit na it's a formal communication na dapat ang pagsusulat niyo ay hindi pa pabalbal yung paggamit ng words. Halimbawa, yung your nyo, you are, letters U and R. Subuhin nyo yung words nyo. Huwag nyo isi-shortcut. Okay? Tapos, sasabihin nyo, okay, thanks. Parang, kapag ikaw, ang haba-haba ng sinabi mo, okay, thanks. Ganun lang yung sinabi. So, magbigay ka pa rin ng especially kapag halimbawa kausap mo is higher ups. Okay, things lang binanggit mo. So, maglagay ka naman ng mga konting pasakali pa doon. Kahit mga one sentence, di ba? Ayan. Do not send messages, a text message. Pag magte-text, do not send messages after work hours. Do not call a client to remind him of an appointment during the wee hours of the night. May it be text or call. May baka nagpapahinga na yung tao. Keep it short and simple, or what we call KISS. Keep it short and simple. Avoid use of abbreviations, na mga nabanggit ko kanina. Use correct grammar and punctuation. Write text messages as if you are writing a formal business letter or email, katulad din yung na-mention ko sa inyo kanina, that you have to greet, introduce yourself, state your purpose, and then end it with a gratitude. Thank you. Ganun lagi dapat. Kahit text message, huwag kayong manghinayang sa 2 pesos or 3 pesos. Okay? Baka mamaya sa mismong sa maling text messages mo, iba ang dating doon sa babasa at ma-offend yung babasa ng text message mo. Baka yung proyekto ninyo is you were kissing goodbye to your text message. You're kissing goodbye to the project mo because of that simple mistake in your text messages. Okay? And do not forget, be gender sensitive. So, when it comes to this matter on how to write a gender-sensitive message, so Sir Johnson will be discussing that to you. Yung mga tamang languages kapag tayo ay nakikipag-usap sa isang tao. Gender-sensitive language. So this will be my last slide. So I would like you to be reminded of the ABCs of workplace communication. Accuracy, which stands for dapat we have to consider the correctness of our messages whenever we are sending message, be it verbal, be it in a form of email, text message, or be it in a telephone conversation. So we have to be accurate on our message. Brevity matters a lot. It has to be direct to the point, short yet complete message. Okay? So in business communication, it has to be always direct to the point. Clarity, dapat understandable yung ating messages. Okay? Sa email, sa letters, even text message, dapat clear ang ating messages. So, that would be all. So, you have filled in again your bean with Sir Bash Learning Bean. Hindi talaga mawawala si Yun Bean. Okay, that would be all. Thank you very much. And I do hope that with all the things that I'm mentioning here, I was able to provide you some relevant information in terms of how we should be communicating in our workplace. So that's it. Thank you very much po. Thank you po, Opa, for this opportunity to share the little knowledge I have when it comes to workplace communication.